So today I am going to give you a year by year guide of what our children's jobs are to interact with their world, how they do it, what we should be expecting from them, and then also what our job is, how we can facilitate that and work with them to help them to grow the most strong, robust nervous systems and brains and emotional well-being for the rest of their life. Hi, my name is Melissa. I'm very glad you're here. I am a licensed therapist who closed her practice to stay home and raise my daughter full time. I'm passionate about attachment and its connection to mental health, parenting, slow living, and spirituality. And I am on a mission to break the cycle of insecure attachment. If any of that interests you, please like and share with a parent, a mom who you think might be interested too, and feel free to subscribe. We are fusing together the work of Dr. Gordon Neufeld and his attachment stages with Dr. Erik Erikson's psychosocial stages of development to integrate them and see how they actually play off one another, to show how our attachment is in part how we develop our emotions, how we develop our internal working models of how we expect the world to treat us, and how we should feel about ourselves. So we'll just start with a brief summary of what these two developmental stages are all about. So Dr. Gordon Neufeld's stages of attachment show how from the ages of 0 to 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 6, that we reach out to the world to feel connected to our primary attachment figures. So think about this is how we as babies and as young kids, we seek for someone so that we can feel connected to them. These stages layer on top of each other, meaning that you do the first one and then the second one goes on top and then the third. You understand what layers are. But the thing to keep in mind with layers is that they might not, they don't necessarily go away. So that bottom layer is still there as the second one comes and the third one. It just sort of transforms as the person develops, as the brain develops. So we will see and we'll discuss how each layer is developmentally appropriate given where they're at cognitively in their brain development. Now, Dr. Erik Erikson's psychosocial stages of development, he talks about, and this is throughout a lifespan, but we're not going to talk about the whole lifespan. We're going to talk about the ages of 0 to 6, just so that we can integrate it with the attachment stages. So from 0 to 6, what we will be talking about is how a person, a baby, a young kid, has different, what he calls tasks, ways of interacting with their environment to start to get an understanding of how they should perceive the environment and how they should emotionally be feeling about their environment and about themselves. So it lays the foundation for your emotional kind of subconscious for the rest of your life going forward and developing those internal working models. What I believe is that Dr. Gordon Neufeld's attachment stages are the prereqs to accomplishing the psychosocial stages and the tasks that we have to do. We need the attachment in order to complete and fulfill the tasks and then reap the fruit and the rewards of that kind of healthy emotional state and well-being that we get through accomplishing the tasks. So let's get into it. So we know that attachments begin to form through a child reaching out or seeking their caregiver around them. But the attachment only really starts to solidify when the opposite happens, meaning that the caregiver actually provides what it is that the child is seeking. So it's through those two things coming together that an attachment is formed. Think of like puzzle pieces. Only when this happens does the child feel the connection that they are reaching out for. So how does an infant, someone from the age of 0 to 1, how do they feel a connection to someone around them? Well, if you think about it, developmentally in their brains, they don't have the cognition to feel connected by thinking about them. They don't have even the cognition really to feel connected to them by like being emotional about them. They feel a connection when they seek and reach out through their 5 senses. So by looking at their caregiver, they feel connected. By smelling, by hearing the sound of their voice, by tasting them, think of breast milk, by touching them. That is the only way that an infant can feel a connection and start to form an attachment. And remember, it's reciprocal. They only feel it when that's given back to them, meaning that for the attachment to really start to sink, not only are they looking for you, but they're looking to see, are you looking for me? So when they look around, do you look at them and make eye contact with them? Or when they're looking around, are you paying attention to something else? When they are listening for the sound of your voice, do they hear you just talking to everyone else, or do they hear you talking to them? One of my favorite quotes of all time is that we come into this world looking for someone looking for us. I think Dr. Kurt Thompson says that. That's exactly what this is all about. Think about attachment in general this way, but like very specifically from the first year of life, is that we are looking for someone who's looking for us. We want to see our caregiver. Are they looking back? We want to hear our caregiver. Are they talking to us? We want to feel our caregiver. Are they picking us up? Are they carrying us around? Are they rocking us to sleep? We want to smell them. Are they nearby so I can smell them? Are they providing themselves so that I can smell them and even taste them? Again, through breast milk, through your fingers in their mouth, that sort of thing. That's how they feel our connection. That's when the brain is firing and wiring to set up their nervous system to feel regulated, or to have the capacity to regulate, I should say. Now, keep in mind, this does not have to be the biological mother, because we are adaptive. We can form attachments with other caregivers as long as they are this available for us. However, I think it is important to say that biologically, we are designed to seek for our mother. When we're in the womb, we hear her, we taste her through the amniotic fluid, we feel, we smell, like we come out looking for that same experience that we had. So although we can form attachments with other people, we don't need to feel scared or feel pressured if that's not our lived experience. However, I like to talk about it because I think it's actually quite empowering and actually quite feminist to acknowledge the divine nature and connection of the mother-baby dyad and how important it is. And I think that it's a beautiful thing and very empowering to talk about. So all of this goes to show how being physically close and available for an infant is incredibly important, is crucial, but there is no one size fits all. There is no prescription. However, I do believe that there are certain things that make it far more available and far more frequent if we do these things. And so I do recommend them, but you have to find what works for you. But things like baby wearing, things like safe bed sharing, contact napping, rocking your baby to sleep, not sleep training, breastfeeding if that's available to you, All of those things are just more opportunities for your body, for your baby to physically be on your body, which is what they are wanting and needing that whole year of life. Even as they're crawling away, they want to come back to you. And if they don't want to physically touch you, they need to be able to see you and hear you across the room. So being physically available and present as much as possible is just so helpful for our babies to actually feel a connection to us. If we're not there, then we can't connect. And this fits in perfectly with Erikson's first task. So that first year of life, Erikson talks about how our task is to interact with our environment to see, can I trust my environment? Or as he says, do I mistrust my environment? Another way of thinking about it is, when I cry out, when I coo, when I am here and I'm looking and I'm seeking and I ask for connection and I ask for my needs met, do people respond to me? Can I trust other people? Can I count on them, or can I not? And the emotion that comes up with a lack of trust is fear. So kind of the emotional question at this stage of our life is, should I be afraid of the world around me and my environment and the people around me, or should I not? This stage of trust or mistrust is actually happening for the first 18 months or so. You might have heard this thing of the 999 rule with caregiving for a baby, which is, you have 9 months where the baby is in you, another 9 months when the baby is on you, and then another 9 months where the baby is near you, like very close proximity. That is perfect for Erikson's first developmental stage, which is from 0 to about 18 months. That's how long they are going through this process of asking the world around them, can I trust you? Can I count on you? Are you reliable? Are you consistent? When I say I need you, are you there? So keep that in mind as we move to the second year. So 1 to 2, a baby is transitioning from that trust or mistrust into autonomy versus shame or doubt. So the task for our toddlers is to start to go out more and more, further away from physical closeness, just a little bit, to go out and start to try to do things on their own. And as they start to do that, they are taking in and noticing and observing how they are responded to. Is it okay for me to do things on my own, or is it not? When I get the information that my caregivers kind of trust me to go out into the world and try and make mistakes, then I can feel a sense of autonomy, a sense of confidence, if you will. Otherwise, I will start to feel shame that I can't do things on my own, and that I should actually doubt myself and the world around me, that I can't count on it and I need other people to do things for me. This gives a child a sense and a belief that I can trust in my own instincts and in my own intuition when I start to blossom, I'm not constantly told, no, stop, don't do it, or like just maybe the caregiver starts to take over for me. I talked about in my last video about how I had this like frustrating experience with my toddler when she was trying to pull the floss out of the container, and how she was doing it wrong according to me, and I just pulled it out of her hand and it became this whole thing. And to me, like, that was a moment where I made a mistake, and I could have gone about it in a more gentle and loving way, and not giving her the space to try and to learn and to make a mistake, that it's okay for her to explore her world. That's what I want her to feel. And I think that I know that if we approach it from a way of, oh, this is her task, she is meant to try new things, I need to give her opportunities to mess up and say that's okay, and find a playful and a lighthearted and a loving way to teach her and guide her, then she can accomplish the task at hand, which is to feel a sense of autonomy and confidence in herself. Now, how does this relate to the attachment stage? So from 1 to 2, the attachment stage is called sameness. So the way that a child feels connected to us is by being like us. They want to be the same as us, meaning they copy us, they mimic us, they try to do everything we're doing. So if I grab the floss and I'm pulling it out to floss my teeth, guess what my daughter wants to do? She wants to grab the floss and pull it out, but of course she doesn't know how, because she doesn't have the motor skills to do that yet. So of course she's going to do it wrong. But if I interfere and say, don't be like me, you're doing it wrong, she's going to feel shame and guilt. So our job, their first, or I guess this is their second year of life, is to create the space for them to be like us and to also be like themselves when they want to do it themselves. We say, good, I want you to do it yourself too. And of course you want to be like me. Of course you want to put on my shoes. Of course you want to do all the same hand gestures as me and make all the same faces as me. That is your way of feeling connected to me. Because at this stage of life, of brain development, a baby doesn't yet know that they are a separate entity than you. So from 0 to the age of 2, they still think they are you in some capacity. So that's why that first year they feel connected to you physically, because they still think they are physically you. That second year, they still think they are you, so they want to do what you're doing. It's not until the age of 2 to 3 that they start to realize, oh, I'm my own person. And that's when developmentally it starts to shift. From the ages of 2 to 3, the attachment stage is called belonging, meaning that the way that they feel connected to us is to belong to us and be loyal to us, because they now know, oh, we are two separate people. So in order for me to feel connected to you, I need to feel like I belong to you. I need to express my loyalty to you so that you'll stick around and that I can stay close, because now I know that we are two separate people. So what does this belonging look like? It looks like them wanting to follow you, to obey you, and to even possess you. This is when we start to hear things like, this is mine, you are mine, my mommy, my daddy. A lot of people get frustrated by this. This is actually developmentally appropriate, and we don't want to get in the way of it, because then we are impeding upon the task that is still happening. From the ages of 2 to 3, the task is the same for autonomy. Them expressing themselves and starting to be themselves is in part them saying, this is mine, you're mine. That if we impede that, then we're saying, oh no, you can't trust yourself. You can't trust your own intuition that you belong to me. Do you see how fucked up that is? But it's also complex. Humans are complex. So, that's one of the reasons why I feel so compelled to do videos like this, is to explain these complexities and but also how important it is. We don't want to impede on our babies wanting to be themselves, and a part of that wanting to express their control is their control over you and your loyalty and belonging to them. Where this also gets tricky is around their belonging and loyalty to their stuff. Babies, kids at this age, they can't share. It's not that they can't. Some kids, have maybe more access to that. But developmentally speaking, it's appropriate for them to not want to share and for them to want to be possessive over their toys. And so if we're constantly forcing our way into their interactions with other kids and telling them you need to share, that is also, again, impeding in their own instincts and their own sense of belief in themselves, and their own task at hand, which is to express this belongs to me, because it's them starting to understand themselves and what they care about and who they are. So you might consider allowing your kids to expand, them keeping their things close. Maybe saying something like, yeah, you don't have to give your toy up right now, but when you're done, hand it to your brother. Something along those lines. But making them share, you might notice a lot of meltdowns because it is impeding that development. Our babies are babies until the age of 3. Now, most people think once they're a year old, they're no longer a baby. Well, that's a part of the problem. We need to understand that a baby's brain is really forming those first 3 years, and then something starts to shift. Now, about 85-90% of their brain is developed, and now we start to see their development really start to blossom. So, first thing, consider your baby a baby until the age of 3. Then once they turn 3 and it's that year of 3 to 4, then not only does their, of course, their attachment stage layer shift, but also we'll see that their psychosocial development stage will shift as well. Their attachment layer, I guess I'll call it a layer instead of a stage, that makes more sense to me, is that they are supposed to seek significance. They feel connected to us when they get a sense that they are special to us, that we find something like magical and unique and wonderful about them. So what you'll see is that they will seek validation, praise, reassurance. Kind of the fundamental question that they're asking now is, am I good or am I bad? At this point, they know very much that you are two separate people. They know that, okay, maybe I can't possess you and I can't possess everything. So now I'm like more a layer removed. So now the way that I feel connected to you is that I get the sense that I really matter to you. So you're choosing to keep me around because I matter. The psychosocial stage is now what we call initiation versus guilt. So before, kids were expressing their autonomy and some sense of control over their environment. But now they're upping it up. They're upping it up. They are amping it up to the next level, which is they are initiating play in a whole new way where they're really expressing themselves. So it's an act of vulnerability to really express your imagination, your likes, your dislikes. So their job is to initiate play and social interaction. And if they are responded to in a way where they get a sense of like, that's a good thing, they get some validation, they get some reassurance, then they feel like they are good. If instead they get, ridicule, they get criticism, they're constantly told to stop or no, or that sort of thing, then they get the sense of, oh, I'm bad. I've done something bad. I should feel guilty about trying to express myself. And this is still connected to our sense of like intuition and instinct. Because if we are approved of as we express ourselves, then we get a sense of, okay, I'm onto something, and I get a deeper sense of my own purpose. Of course, a child's job at that age, their purpose is to play, it is to learn, it is to grow. And they get a sense of, okay, I know what my purpose is, I have a sense of it, and I can keep going. I can move forth. Now, from the ages of 4 to 5, that's the same psychosocial task. That hasn't changed. What has changed is now the new layer of attachment, which is now I feel a little bit even further from you. I know that I'm significant to you. So now the next layer is now you feel significant to me. So now I have a deep love for you. They want to express more love, more affection. They might want to even give you gifts, draw you a picture and give it to you, find you something outside on their nature walk and give it to you as a special gift. They want to express their love to you as a way to feel connected to you. As we go from 5 to 6, the psychosocial task starts to change. Now, this isn't like directly like on your birthday, it starts to change, but it starts to change from, okay, I'm initiating and now I'm more of like school age. And now it starts to expand more into what we call industry versus inferiority. Now, this goes on for like up until I think the age of 11, something like that. So it's that whole kind of like school age time of a child's life where I'm not just initiating play, but now I'm starting to like feel a sense of my own like skills, my own talents. I might have some pride in my ability, and it's a part of my job is to express myself and to gain a sense of who I am through kind of what I'm good at, what I'm less good at, and hopefully like I don't get shame and I'm still held and loved no matter if I'm good at something or not, but I start to really feel that sense of industry. Of course, if I do get the shame or the rejection, then I start to feel inferiority, meaning that I don't have the ability to accomplish. I don't feel pride. I don't get a sense of my own ability. The fundamental question that a child is asking is, how can I be good? How can I provide? What do I have to offer? And the connection to attachment at this age, and this is the final kind of layer, is they feel connected to us by being known, by expressing their deepest vulnerabilities, their true emotional thoughts, their secrets, their hopes, their fears. Dr. Gordon Neufeld talks about how at the age of 5, they give us our hearts, and then at the age of 6, this secure attachment cements when they give us their secrets, when they say, I trust you with my deepest self. And in doing so, if we think about the psychosocial development, I really get a sense of my capacity as a person, what I have to offer, and that it's safe and it matters. At this stage, they might start asking you more questions because they want to go deeper. They want to be known and they want to be seen. And as parents, if we have the capacity to hold that and to see them and to know them, to really want that and to let them know and have them feel that, then they feel that connection. That secure attachment really solidifies, and that industry and that pride in one's capacity really starts to flourish. Now, again, this psychosocial stage continues to go into like the age of 11-ish, and then there's another one and another one, because Erikson's stages go throughout a human development for a lifespan. So if you're interested in knowing what comes next, then you Google that. But my hope is that the big takeaway for us is that we know what our kids' job is, and then therefore what our job is. So let's review. So the first year of life, we want to let them be physically close to us. And we need to consistently respond and be available and engaged. That second year of life, our job is to keep responding consistently and also to let them be like us. And then when they are ready to explore, to let them be like themselves when they want to try something on their own. From 2 to 3, we want to continue to let them be themselves as they want to try things on their own, but also let them be loyal to us as they express it. From 3 to 4, we want to openly express our delight in them and in their creativity. From 4 to 5, we want to openly receive their affection and give it back, including around their creative ideas. And lastly, from 5 to 6, we want to show interest and engage with their expressions of their inner world and their vulnerabilities, especially around their creative ideas and any challenges that come up that they need to tackle. Here's an even more condensed way of looking at it. You're allowed to be close to me. You're allowed to copy me. You're allowed to be loyal to me. I feel you're special. I accept your love, and I want to know you. The internal working models that develop for us, if we receive these messages and we feel it inside of our bodies and our nervous systems, is that I'm safe, I'm capable, and I'm good. I want you to just imagine what the mental health and the emotional resilience of our world would be if we were full of individuals who felt that way. That's the mission I'm on, is to break the cycle of insecure attachment so that we can give those gifts to our babies, and that maybe we can reverse engineer and through reparenting provide it for ourselves and for our people around us. Not just self-regulating all the time, but co-regulating and really being able to develop deep relationships with the people in our lives. I'm on this journey with you. I'm not particularly great at it all the time, and that's a part of why I'm on this journey and why it's a part of my mission, is because I was insecurely attached as a child and in my marriage, and I know how important it is and it matters. And I'm glad you're here. I hope that you were able to get something from this video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And until next time, thanks for watching.